your reading and welcome to your birthday month. The beginning of your season, darling. It's just a few weeks away. So, I don't know if you know this, but a long time ago, I was married to a Sagittarius slash Scorpio cusp, November 22nd. And he was probably the most Sagittarius person I've ever met. Fun, daring, adventurous, lucky, great mood. Everybody loved him. Good guy. And brave. Very, very brave. Got it done. And as I was looking through your transits for November, I couldn't help but think, geez Louise, oh, this is such, whatever, we do it for the look, it'll be fine. What a Brad month it is. What does that mean? Well, it means that everything that you want to go your way does. You are extremely lucky. You have a bit of a cross ventilation going on. I want to put it that way because I had all the doors open in the house and everything was clearing out at the same time. Air coming in from every side and just this new energy filling up the house. And I thought, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what's going on with Sagittarians. There is new energy flowing in with every planet that goes direct. And then by the time we get to the sun moving into your sign, you just have this huge reserve of energy and you want to do something with it. Great. That's perfect. But you've got so many different things to do. So many different roads to take at once. So many things to be good at once. Now, that's great. So much happiness, so much positivity, so much power, so much direction, so much adventure. It's wonderful. But you knew that was coming. It's so easy when your blessings find you to get reckless. All of a sudden, you don't want to do that thing. Maybe it's too easy now. Maybe that person was perfect a week ago, a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago. But now all of a sudden you can't see yourself with them anymore. Maybe that friendship you've had forever was platonic and that person is also with somebody. But suddenly you find yourself attracted and you don't know why and you just go with the impulse, you go with the fire. I'm here to tell you that there is always something sublimated underneath that fire. It's innocent. It's never bad intentioned. But what you're sublimating, what makes you go like this and then run off in this direction or run off in that direction is partly you running away from the things that you have yet to process. It's easier to move on than it is to sit still and think. Now, everything here indicates that you really don't need to sit still and think. You get to go, 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 and you get to make a lot of money. You get to bring a lot of happiness into your life. And you also have this sense of purpose where there's stuff out of your scene that you start to do. Maybe it's for the community. Maybe it's for your family. Maybe it's for the arts. Doesn't matter. But it's something outside of what you do now that you find quite suddenly an interest in and you want to go run off in that direction. Wonderful. Do it. It will bring you lots of prosperity, lots of happiness. No issues there. But when you get the thing, it is going to irk you to not be able to get away from it. Wait, but you just said I really wanted the thing. I know. That's how, if you already have a partner, that's how they will feel. That's how, if you have an illicit affair, the other person's partner will feel. That's how a huge opportunity, job opportunity that comes to you, the people offering you that job, that's how they will feel. You wanted this. You really, really wanted this. So why now do you have these conflicting emotions coming in and stopping you from having what you really, really want? Well, the reason is all that stuff that's sublimated, that never gets talked about. Remember what I said? Really nice guy, everybody loves him, really sweet to everyone, super kind, adventurous, fun, friendly. That's just not realistic. Nobody is like that all the time, except you guys. But even you're not really like that. But it's not like you're putting on a show. You don't know it yourself. It's so deep. So in November, you've got to work extra hard and sit still when you don't want to, just long enough to figure out why you're running. You want to run? Good. You want to go in 10 different directions? You can do it. You want to make a lot of money in these different arenas? It's coming to you anyway. Wonderful. But just taking a few minutes out as these opportunities approach, as you bask in your happiness and you realize that you are super lucky, just take a little time to think about what it is that perhaps you're not addressing, that you're running from. What's really the motivation behind your wants, and how quickly they tend to change, and how kind of without reason it is. And then the Five of Swords and the Lovers. We have an eclipse coming up at the end of November, and it's in your house of relationships. Ta-da-da! And ooh, it wants to tell you where you lie to yourself. That's what I was getting at. I was trying to say it in like a nice way, but yeah, it's about lying to yourself, because everybody ultimately knows what the deep, dark fear is that they keep down and that they keep moving so that they don't have to think about. Everybody knows really what it is that they're running from. That eclipse is not going to let you go. It's going to grab you. It's going to make you sit. It's going to make you think. You ever get a Gemini in a room and you really just want to not? They start talking and they start reading you and you're just like, I would rather not. Like, you really don't need to do this to me. I don't need all of the, and you're like, yeah, like right now. Yes, like right now. But it's the eclipse that's going to do it. So before then, while all these wonderful things are coming to you, while you're starting all these new initiatives, while you're putting yourself out there, really, truly who you are in your highest power, while you're out there doing what Sag does best, which is leading and innovating and pulling us all into new ways of thinking, there is still that reckoning. There is still that check-in that needs to happen. Like, okay, Sag, you've got everybody wrapped around your finger. And why did I even tell you that story about my ex-husband? Because that's how everybody saw him, and it was wonderful. But it was me who would be like, that was great. What's really going on? Well, what do you mean? No, no. I'm not saying you're hiding it. Don't be defensive. I'm just asking, like, what's up? Something's bothering you. When you guys laugh too much, when you're way too social, when you're running around with a significant other and having an affair and having a platonic friend that you might end up sleeping with, when you're doing all of this Sagittarius gigolo stuff, it's because something is wrong. It's because you're trying desperately to get away from, or even if you just have like a kind of revolving door of dates going on, it's because there's something deeper that you don't want to talk about, that you don't want to address. So The eclipse comes in late in the month after you've been doing all the fuckery and is like, are we going to talk about this or not? And it's really just a rhetorical question because you're going to have to talk about it. And that's fine. Not a big deal. It can be done. It can be done really well. You can gain a lot of peace in November. You can start your season with so much goodness and peace and calmness in your heart, with so many great projects under your belt, with so many new opportunities coming in, with so much fullness. You feel the luck, the power, the fullness, the direction, the adventure, the opportunity, the self-worth. And then the eclipse comes in and is like, cool, I heard all of that. Now, what about your feelings? And you're like, can we put a pin in that? I don't really want to talk about that. And the eclipse is like, no, we can't put a pin in that because everything else goes great. And then because you don't address this part of your life, by this part I mean emotions, we end up back here. Because what you have to realize is that when you don't address those hurts, when you don't address those latent fears, you will create them. It's like you're praying for them to happen because your subconscious is the one doing the directing of this hologram. And if your subconscious is completely occupied because you are not addressing it, so some part of you has to address it. If your subconscious is completely occupied with the things that you will not let boil to the surface, then those are the things that will manifest in your life. And oftentimes you will find Sagittarians are so nice, so friendly, so talented, but why all these tragic things happening? Why all this kind of deceit? Why, where does that part fit with a Sagittarius personality? It doesn't. It doesn't, because your environment is not responding to your conscious self. Fortunately, unfortunately, Scorpios love it, you guys hate it. It's responding to the part of you that's taking care of everything else. And that part of you wants to be addressed by your conscious mind so you can finally mesh and not be living and manifesting the fears instead of all this abundance. Because anything you had a fear about in the last 6 months, oh, this isn't going to work out, I'm not going to get that money, I'm not going to get that project, I'm not going to get that person, all of it starts to work in your favor. So then it's even more counterintuitive, like, wait a minute, you said that I would get all this stuff, so why would that make me sad? Why would that make bad things happen? No. It won't make you sad. But there are things underneath it that are not addressed that will come up and muddy this water, which you really don't want. So, okay, so Amber, what do? What you do is you accept the luck. You sit in your power. You let yourself fill up with this love and fulfillment and real like faith in yourself. You let that worth grow. But every time you start to run in this direction or that direction, love, money, it doesn't matter. Take a moment. Just take a moment. Pull that horse back and just sit with yourself. The energy is so beautiful and so introspective in Scorpio season that even you can be self-reflective. And you already know, like I said, what those fears are. You already know that your fear is you don't want to be alone. I'm not even talking about relationships. You could be married for like 20 years. Being married, having a person in no way guarantees that you're not lonely. Actually, most of the time, that's when you're the most lonely, is when there's somebody else there. Because they're not really there. So if the fear is to live and die alone, because my spirit is just too strong, because my spirit is too independent, because I won't compromise, the lunar eclipse comes in and says, well, you're making that fear come true. Let me show you how. And it's going to hit you. And when it does, you will be prepared because you will have seen this and you will say, ah, yes, I welcome this because I've been thinking about this myself and I've decided this and this and this are things I've been carrying around forever, things I've been worried about forever, might happen to me. And now I realize that they're not founded on anything. Maybe I've been running so long that I've been sublimating things that weren't even that scary if I would just face them head on. And as you face them head on, and as the eclipse brings them up to you in a way that you cannot deny, whether it's through other people or situations, finally you're able to reconcile these two sides of yourself. And the next time you run, and the next time you take advantage of an opportunity, you go right to the top. And it's been forever, and you deserve it, and your winning streak in more ways than one, buddy. Yes, I just called you buddy. I did. I called you buddy. In more ways than one, your winning streak is here. So, don't look it up. Don't let yourself get distracted. The only reason you're doing it is because you're afraid. Fear of success is a real thing. Fear of intimacy is a real thing. Fear of sitting with yourself, fear of introspection is a real thing. And Scorpio season says, sorry, but you gotta do it. And it's for your betterment. You need it because there's so much coming up that requires for you not to be working as a reactive person, not running from this towards this, not I don't want this, so I must want this. No, 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 no. Now you begin responding and receiving. And before you react, when you find yourself reacting, stop right there. Take a step back, take 10 deep breaths and say, look at how my issues are pushing me into this or that. Look at how my fears are prompting me to run this way and that way at the same time. I'm not going to do that. I love myself too much for that. I don't want to confuse my heart and my mind anymore. I'm going to sit with this until it makes sense to me and I know that I'm doing it because I want to, not because I'm afraid of something else. As long as you've got that down, you're good. Want to look at these cards? Love you. Hi, Sagittarius. Welcome to the second part of your reading. Okay, so here we are. And let's take a fresh look at these cards. You got my first reaction. That's why the second read is so important. It gives me a second to step back and reassess and see if there's anything I've missed. So let's start from the beginning up there. Wheel of Fortune, Queen of Wands. Regardless of how you go about it, the winds are coming. Now, for most of you, that is great news. And then there's a subset of you who are going to be terrified by that. That's okay. That Queen of Wands is there to remind you of your strength. That Nine of Cups tells you that it won't just be financial success. And that 10 of Wands tells you that it will be long-term. Something you can really sink your teeth into, something you can point and shoot at way into the future like you like to do. 3 of Wands, Ace of Wands. It does require risk and bravery, both of which you have. So when those opportunities come, you can grab them. Even in today's transit, which happens to be a trine between Capricorn, Saturn in Capricorn, and Venus in Virgo. Even today, Sag, your daily horoscope is about not hesitating to take the opportunity or else it might be lost. Now, this is pretty pertinent. This applies all month long. Grab the opportunities because that Ace of Wands has a time limit. And to be able to grab them, you need a certain level of self-confidence. So that first row is really boosting you. It's giving you the good feeling. It's giving you the recipe that you need to be able to grasp the opportunity when it comes without hesitation. Right? The Three of Wands implies that you've done the planning already. You're not Two of Wands. You're not back behind the castle walls still planning it out. You're out there now, ready. And as you ready yourself, the Ace of Wands approaches, here you go. And the Nine of Pentacles in you says, okay, thank you very much. Or does it? Asks the Five of Swords. How much of you gets taken away from you by you? Because I've really never met anyone who could tear you down. I've never seen a Sagittarius get torn down, actually. I've never seen a Sag get told their life. I've rarely even seen Sagittarians get into any drama or fights with anyone. You guys really are the coolest. So if that's true, then who takes from you? Who is that person then? Well, obviously it's you. And it's you in the ways that we have discussed. When the Ace of Wands comes in, don't run away. There is nothing to run from except yourself. When this new love comes in, what does it trigger in you? What it needs and what you need is contemplation and rest and acceptance and reception. Your instinct will be to use all your self-sabotage behavior, coping behaviors to run away from it. But the Two of Cups is there on the other side. Ha ha, gotcha. There's nowhere to run, Sag. Nowhere to hide. It's kind of funny that the universe has to chase you down to give you your wins. But it's actually also really wonderful because the one thing that you can be sure of is that whatever comes in means to stay. You can't get rid of it if you tried. And sometimes that's the only thing that will put a Sag's heart at ease. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to worry. It's okay to realize when things start to get good how sad and difficult they may have been. You don't even notice how bad something is until you have something to compare it to, and your memory moves so fast away from what has happened to what is happening, right? You're so in the moment, your memory doesn't have much of a chance to traumatize you. So you don't really know how bad something is when you're in it. Because when you're in something, whether it's quote unquote bad or good, if you're completely in it, you can deal with it. And that is the secret to your charm, your success, and your happy mood. But when things get good, all of a sudden it hits you. Oh man, past few years have been really hard. Damn it. I mean, like, I've really been through it. Yeah, you have. It's much like a mother who is extremely, extremely, extremely worried about a child who has not come home yet. And then when they get home, the anger actually comes forth because now they know that everything is okay. So they can actually process it. I do this if I hurt myself physically. I
don't allow my brain to have enough time to process the pain. I immediately go into rubbing it and it's okay, everything's fine, walk on it, shake it off. And then the next time something happens, somebody sees a bruise, I tell somebody about it, somebody asks me about it, I can feel that I am really relieved that I didn't get hurt worse, or I'm really freaked out that I could have been hurt worse, or the reality that something really hurt me hits me and I go, oh, wow. How was I not really aware of that in the moment? One time, where is it? Here it is. One time, I went into a candy store, the kind where they have the big jars made of glass, and I accidentally dropped a lid, and the lid shattered. And then I realized that the shopkeeper and my husband that I mentioned, ex-husband at the time, the Sag, were both standing there staring at me in disbelief. And I didn't realize why, because I was laughing hysterically. And then I realized that there was a pool of blood forming on the floor. And it turned out to be dripping, actually pouring out of my finger. For some reason, I didn't feel a thing. It wasn't until we went into the CVS and completely freaked everybody out, grabbed a bunch of whatever we thought we needed, we're just a bunch of kids, and tried to tape it up. It bled through that, and it bled through some more bandages, and soon it stopped bleeding finally. But it wasn't until much later that day that I realized that that piece of glass that flew could have hit me anywhere, and that it did cut me to the bone, and that I was really lucky that I didn't get hurt, seriously hurt. It was then that I realized that actually there had been quite some pain in my hand, and that there was a part of me that was deeply frightened by what had happened. But I really had no access to it until after everything was okay. My body did not allow me, my mind did not allow me to indulge that fear until it wasn't an issue anymore. It waited until it wasn't a liability to feel that way. And then I was allowed to process all those emotions. You, in the same way, have gone through some very, very, very hard things. Emotionally, romantically, family-wise, business-wise, it has been hard. But that's okay, right? Because you keep pushing and you keep moving. This is why this reading may make you anxious. This is why. Because now things are starting to get good. And when things start to get good and safe and reliable and smooth out is when you're going to start to process the last year or so. For some of you, the last 9 years. For some of you, the last 5 years. But that pain has been sublimated so long that when it hits you, it may hit you like a wall. But do me a favor, don't run from it. Because that's not what you're running from. That stuff already happened. It's over. You're just processing it now. What you'll be running from, if you run, is something incredible. So do yourself a favor. Allow yourself to rest, to process, to accept, to receive good things, to receive love. And most importantly, allow yourself, after a long spell of feeling like you just couldn't quite make it over that hill, allow yourself to win. And don't be sad about it. I don't know why I'm getting emotional. You guys, it's okay. It's gonna be so, so, so good. And November is gonna seem like such a mixed bag to you for that reason. Cause like, why are all these great things happening? But I feel this like, this pit of anxiety and fear and desperation in my soul. What is this? It's just the past. It's just you finally sitting on a couch somewhere going, wow. I mean, it's just my pinky, but it could have been my hand. It could have been my wrist. It could have cut my finger off. It could have been my face. It could have been, it could have been anything. But it wasn't. And I'm fine. And you're fine. And now it's time to move forward, not run away, not sabotage, because the only person sabotaging you again is you, but actually time to win. Now remember, winning requires commitment, a commitment to yourself, a commitment to your ideals, a commitment to your regimen, a commitment to your principles. So it's not just, it's not just easy to win. Even the acceptance and receiving of wins is not easy. But trust me, it's a lot easier and a lot nicer than the past few years have been. So we'll take it. All right? I love you so much. If you would like a personal reading, you can click the Cameo link below, which will send you a recorded reading to your inbox. If you would like a one-on-one video chat reading, there's a Chatalize link below. I'll add some more dates. If you are interested in a daily horoscope where we take a look at the daily transits of the planets, that can be found at the Quietest Revolution on Instagram. Come join the fam. And if you are interested in these lovely rings, you can find them on our website with the link below as well. Quietest Revolution rings. This is the High Priestess and this is the Empress. All right. Good stuff. I love you. Happy early birthday. And I'm real happy for you. I'll see you in the extended right now.